There's definitely a lot of stigma with talking vulnerably about sports and your experiences. Some of the hardest things I've ever done have come from volleyball. I think a huge thing that everyone needs to learn at some point in their journey is disassociating their identity with their sport.
This is Claire Little, an outside wide hitter, and also my big sister, very big. And today we're going to be talking about her journey. Okay, so let's just get started. You're a sophomore, right?
Yep.
Okay, and where are you from?
I'm from Temecula, California.
Okay, fun. Family there? What's that like?
So I have a twin brother on a mission right now, and then I have an older brother that's here on the men's volleyball team.
Wow.
And then my parents are at home. And my dad's a fireman, and my mom's a stay-at-home mom.
Yeah, so big BYU family. Did you feel
huge
like
BYU family.
pressure to come?
I wouldn't say pressure, but definitely my entire life, my mom has always talked about BYU and never pressured us into it, just shared her love of BYU, and so it just kind of made us all feel what she feels. And I wanted to come to BYU because I could feel her experience, and I wanted to have a similar experience. I wanted to be able to come out of a university loving my experience.
Right. And that includes loving your sport, right? And that's something
100%.
that you're big on, is
huge on it.
Learning to love your sport and the strength of it. And why do you go through it all? Why do you put yourself through the workouts and the lifting and the running, all of it?
I mean, everyone has passions in life, and my passion is volleyball, and I just love the sport in general, just because I love to share it with people. I'm a big people person.
Right.
And so being able to be on the court with 5 other amazing people is just what I live for. I love the passion and the energy that you get from it. And so it makes it all worth it in the end, but it's definitely some of the hardest things I've ever done have come from volleyball.
Yeah.
So it's been quite a journey, but I'm so grateful for it, and I've had so much fun doing it.
Yeah.
But that's really why I keep going, is for the people and for just the sheer passion and the ability to be I worked hard and I accomplished something.
Right. Well, and that's not something a lot of people talk about, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is something that you're passionate about because it's not really a norm to talk about, because so many people just make it to the next level, and then it's, just the successes and never the lows.
There's definitely a lot of stigma with talking vulnerably about sports and your experiences. And I think something huge that I've noticed, just being able to work with so many amazing athletes at different universities through different opportunities that I've had, is just realizing that you don't just go through, you're not the only one going through hard things.
Right.
There's so many other people that are going through almost similar to the same things that you are. People that are hard to work with. Mm-hmm. I mean, any team sport, you're gonna have some sort of adversity there.
Right.
As well as just injuries and coming back from that and not performing at the level you want to be performing at. Mm-hmm. And everything you've ever worked for is these moments. So it's just being able to go out there and just say you know what, it's not easy and I struggle with it, but that's okay.
Right.
Has been huge for me.
And do you think that's important for identity? I know as an athlete, sometimes it's hard because when you're not successful in your sport, it feels like everything else around you is just kind of sucking at the same time.
For sure. I think a huge thing that everyone needs to learn at some point in their journey is just disassociating their identity with their sport. And I think that's super hard because we grow up, and most athletes that are D1 are usually competing for majority of their lifetime.
Right.
So they've associated so many of people coming up to them being you're so amazing with your sport.
Yeah.
And you are only amazing because of that sport. And I think disassociating and being getting to a place where I'm still a freaking awesome person.
Right.
Despite being a freaking awesome volleyball player.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Just understanding your identity.
Yeah, just understanding who you are and being able to have 2 separate lives. I love having separate friends as well as my teammates, but just having that disconnection and being able to decipher who I am versus who I am on the court.
Yeah. And you're a pretty big social butterfly. Everybody knows the name Claire Little, guys. If you don't know her name, you gotta go look her up. Okay, we'll walk around on campus and I'll be with you, and I feel like the coolest person in the world because everybody's Claire Little, when's your next game?
Yep.
Has that been, you've had injuries and stuff, has that been hard when you can't play? How do you balance that part of it?
Yeah, so my first year here, I had a major injury, and I had never had any season-ending injury.
Wow,
ever.
nothing?
Nothing. I've been very healthy.
Wow.
So when I got here and I had an injury, I would say I did not know who I was yet, just because that crushed me. Like going, I didn't want to go to practice. I didn't want to see the team practicing without me.
Yeah.
It was so hard for me. And then I just like, I don't love labeling it as like I was depressed at the time, but I would say looking back on it, I was definitely,
it's hard. You were in the slumps.
So hard.
Yeah.
And so just like remembering how low I was then and seeing how much stronger I got from it and like overcoming that and like deciding like, you know what, like I'm gonna bounce back from this and I'm gonna come back stronger it's so empowering.
Right.
Like it's super fun to be able to say like, I struggled and I performed and I came out on top.
Yeah, and you feel stronger coming back, don't you?
Yeah, 100%. I would totally agree with that.
Well, okay, let's go back to the social part. What is one of your favorite things to do on campus, off campus, just in Utah in general? Because you're from Cali.
Okay, yeah.
So it's a little different, but if you had to pick a couple things, what are your favorite things to do?
I love being outside. Right now, I don't love being outside because it's a little bit cold. I cannot feel my fingers right now.
Just wait till it starts snowing.
But, oh my gosh, no, I'm not ready for the snow. But no, I think one of the coolest things about being here in Utah especially is the outdoors. Like it is so pretty here. And so I think some of my favorite things is I host bonfires. I love hosting.
Do you really?
I do.
How do you like host them? Like, do you have a spot in the canyon?
No, I just like, we usually find a spot and then I just text every single person in my contacts. Like literally everyone in my DMs, everyone in my contacts, anybody's invited.
You need to start
Everybody
posting on your social media.
I should.
Shout out, come to Claire's bonfire.
I 100% should. Me and my friend love doing them together. We grew up together and so we love just like having everybody around. It's super homey and family for me. Like it's like if you don't have family here, to create a family by just creating connections with people is the best way to feel like you fit in somewhere.
Yeah.
So it's been awesome. I love it.
Well, and bonfires are just, you're out in nature and it's just so you can see the stars and everything. And so
it's so pretty.
Can you see that in California? Do you get to see any stars or is it like
the stars in California are not as good. I will not lie. They are not good, but the ones up here in the mountain, highly recommend.
Oh my goodness, we went to Sundance a couple times. Oh, those stars are insane.
Yeah, they're so pretty.
And family, do you have any family here or is it that's the people, that's your biggest connection?
So my dad is one of 6. So he has a couple sisters here.
Okay.
And so I'll go to their house usually on Sundays and have dinner, which is so much fun. I grew up in a huge family of like cousins. Like cousins were huge in our family. And they're our first best friends before we met anybody, you know?
Yeah.
And so it's been super fun to like get to be around some of my younger cousins and just like help them through high school and just hang out with them and just different things like that.
Yeah, and they probably look up to you like so many volleyball girls probably do across the country just because the team is so good. If you had one piece of advice to say to them, what would you say?
I'd say your journey is gonna be really hard, but it's gonna be worth it and you're strong enough to take it.
Yeah. Yeah, bars, gosh dang. She came up with that on the spot, y'all. That was right here. You haven't heard that anywhere else. Okay, well, any last piece of advice? Any other words you want to share? Sophomore, she got 2 more years.
Live, laugh, and love.
YOLO.
Yeah.
You only get one.
I'm Claire Little, and this is Center Street Media.
Between the Lines, thank you for watching. Find out on Apple, YouTube, and Spotify.